Welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. It's Friday. We made it. My goodness, it's so exciting. I always love Fridays, and I love in particular this Friday because one of the greatest singer-songwriters in the entire country joining us on the show today. She's got a brand new album out, her 16th album. It is out today. We're going to give you a little taste before we sit down and talk to Lynn Miles. Here is Johnny without June.
I feel the morning on my eyes. I tell myself the same old lies. Pretend that you're still sleeping there. Your silky skin and your Ray-Ban hair, so beautiful it steals my breath. As real as if you never left. As perfect as a mandolin. The hunger when you pull me in. I'm the earth without the sun, a bullet with no gun. I'm a flower with no bloom, a lone wolf howling at the moon. I'm a sailor lost at sea, learning how deep blue can be. I'm a song without a tune. I'm Johnny without June.
It's so great when you can sing along with the singer-songwriter and their song, because it was like karaoke up there with all the words. Lynn Miles joining us on the show. That was Johnny without June. Well, congratulations, 16th album.
Thank you, Derek.
Let's first of all, Lynn, talk about that particular song. Tell me about the inspiration behind that.
Well, it's interesting because I usually, for almost all my albums, I have no co-writing.
Right.
No co-writers. All the songs I wrote myself. This one, I was doing a songwriting workshop in Halifax because they teach songwriting. I had about 20 people in the class. And I usually go around and say, okay, give me like a 30-second synopsis of why you're here. So this woman named Maxine Wallace, who's very shy, unassuming, said, well, I write these lyrics and I don't play an instrument, so I'm looking for somebody to write the melodies. And I said, well, show me your lyrics. And she showed me that song.
Really?
And I said, may I please write the music to this? And she was like, oh my God, yes. So I did, and then I put it on the record.
That is so cool.
And every day I send her the tracking, so it's being played in Australia and Europe and California. So every day I send her where it's been played, and she said it's like Christmas every day.
So
isn't that a great story?
What a great story.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
No, I saw the lyrics, and I just thought, oh my God, the writing was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What has been... the last 3 years you and I were talking about
it. We're
going
to go to a very dark place.
We won't go too dark, but
okay.
I mean, it must have been a difficult time.
It was a difficult time because, touring musicians, I think, were the first people who were canceled. Mm-hmm. We really couldn't play shows anymore. We couldn't fly anymore,
Yeah.
So
and that's where you make your money.
You make your money
right?
when you're traveling.
Yeah.
When you're touring, you're playing shows. So that all got canceled. So I actually ended up declaring bankruptcy.
You're kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I think a lot of musicians at my level were pretty scratching around for nickels and dimes. So that happened, and then my mom wasn't well, and then she passed away, and I got COVID at one point. I had shingles at one point from the stress.
Gosh.
It was like it was really tough. But as I say that, also at the same time, I managed to put out 2 records.
Yeah.
So at the same time, I kept doing my art because that's the thing that saves me all the time. It's always saved me. Mm-hmm. And I love being in the studio, so I just would try to get into the studio as much as I possibly could, and ended up making 2 records. So, and I know other people had tougher times.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, Lynn.
So I feel fortunate.
Well, yeah, and I'm sorry to hear that. I had no idea that story, and I'm sorry that lost your mom in December, was it?
Yeah. And she was my biggest fan, so that's been tough.
Yeah.
And today is my release day for my album, so she would have been here with us.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Yeah,
For sure. Tell me about the rest of the album. Are there any sort of common themes? Take anything, from some of the difficult times you've been going through?
Well, it's called TumbleWeedyWorld.
Okay.
Partially because I live on Wellington. I live on a busy street, and I remember early days of the pandemic. I stood out on my balcony and saw nothing.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I'm going to see tumbleweed blowing across the road at any moment. So that ended up being a line in the song. And, but this is like one of the first albums I've done. It is the first album I've done where I wasn't worried so much about having a theme. I was actually, what I really wanted to do was make a record that used the sounds of bluegrass and country music, really traditional country music.
Right.
So I gathered the players, and then I knew the sounds I really wanted. The most important sound to me was the dobro, because it has an ache in it, which I love.
Yeah.
And so I picked the songs to suit the instrumentation. So there are different song themes. It's not really cohesive in that way, but it's all cohesive in terms of instrumentation, presentation, and kind of the silence behind the instruments. I wanted some silence behind the instruments because the world was silent at the same time.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
It makes complete sense. I know exactly where you're coming from.
Okay.
Must be excited, right? Getting back. Are you going to be touring? Do you have some dates already set?
I'm starting to tour a bit.
Okay.
I've got 2 shows coming up this week. They're sold out. 2 CD release shows at the
Nice.
Redbird, which is a great new club.
Yes.
If anybody hasn't been to a club in a while, the Redbird is lovely. Been playing the same show in Toronto. But the pandemic also taught me how hard I was working and how
Really,
stressful it is. It's really hard to be a touring artist. It's very stressful. I'm 64. When I was 20, it was hard.
Right.
I'm 64 now. It's harder.
I'm glad you say that because I think a lot of people, and probably myself included until I started, talking to artists like yourself, they think it's glamorous. Oh, you're on the road. It's so much fun. You're in a different place every day. It's hard on a person, isn't it?
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
And, and you really want to play the shows and you want to have your energy there for the shows. But, driving for 6 hours and finding parking and doing a sound check, trying to find some food, trying to find the hotel, all that stuff is exhausting. And then you have to shine for an hour and a half or 2 hours. And so you're constantly sort of trying to figure out what to expend your energy on and what not to. And and as you get older, it's just harder on your body and your soul, your spirit.
And you've been outspoken, right, when it comes to mental health, and in particular, as musicians and singer-songwriters.
Well, if you watch the Titanic movie, the band goes down with the ship. You don't have to do that if you're an artist. You shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
You should not have to sacrifice. You shouldn't have to drive through a blizzard to get to a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Let's stop doing that.
Yeah.
Number one. And then let's take care of ourselves.
Yeah,
You know?
Self-care is so incredibly important.
Yeah, the 27 Club exists for a reason, right?
I just talked about that on the Sam LaPrade show with Eric Alper, the 27 Club. Yeah, and it really makes a difference when you speak out about it, and you let people know that this is the life of an artist. It isn't always glamorous. Where can people pick up the album? I'm just running out of time.
Compact Music and TrueNorthRecords.com. LynnMiles.com.
Excellent.
No, LynnMiles.ca.
Excellent.
Sorry.
I gotta let you go.
Okay.
Well, we'll be right back after this.
Okay.
You got